Hello, my lovelies, and welcome to the Moving Toward Better podcast. I'm your host, Karen Bemis from movingtowardbetter.com and KE Bemis Consulting, and I'm here to help you live your best life, powered by your unique and amazing personality. Hello, my lovelies. Before we get started today, I want to share some news with you. Recently, I've split my disc consulting work from the Moving Toward Better website. My new site is kebemis.com, at least for now, and it's what I would call a baby website. I've got a long way to go to make it fully functional, but you can schedule appointments with me from there, and I'm working on new content, new courses, new products about parenting and marriage and all things disc related that will help you understand your children, your spouse, your business, all of it. Way better than you could before. There's also some content that will be specifically about business. And I'm really excited about the direction that this new part of the business is going. So the podcast will also be shifting more toward disc-based content to help you live your best life based on your personality, which transitions nicely into what we're going to talk about today, which is how to keep your life in balance based on your personality type. Some people love the idea of a life in balance, and some detest the term because it feels like an impossibility. But most people think that keeping your life in balance means that everything gets equal treatment. And that's a definition that just sets you up for failure, because life isn't like that. I've been a wife and mother for over 27 years. Well, I've been a wife for over 27 years. I've been a mother for over 25. And I've been an adult for, well, we're almost at, 58 now. So I've been around a while. And I don't think I've ever given everything in my life equal time and treatment. And I don't know anybody who does. And if they tell you they do, they either don't have a spouse, don't have children, don't have a typical life, or, they're just not telling the truth. Personal opinion there. Anyway, there are guys out there, right? They have no kids and no wife, and they try to tell you how to have it all in business. You look at them and you're like, you have no clue, right? And we're not going to talk about those guys. That's a discussion for another day. But for our purposes today, it's important to remember some personality types are task-oriented. For others, people come first. If you're not sure which you are, I'm going to give you a little test today. Okay. Imagine that you're making dinner and your children come running into the house and they tell you there's something outside they want you to look at. Maybe it's a deer walking through. Maybe it's a baby bunny. Maybe it's a hot air balloon. Something that won't be there when you're finished cooking dinner, right? So what's your first instinct? How concerned are you with finishing dinner? Do you tell your kids that that's nice, but you have to get dinner on the table? Or do you turn off the stove and go investigate? Are you annoyed by having to make that choice? Are you excited by it? If you're task-oriented, cooking dinner is probably the thing that takes precedence. If you're people-oriented, you're going to be more inclined to investigate, unless your people need to eat and get out the door quickly. And some people will be torn because they have both a task and a people orientation, because most of us are a personality blend. So how do we deal with those kind of things? Let's talk about it. Let's start with a quick refresher. When I talk about personalities, I use the DISC personality model, in which some people are task-oriented, some are people-oriented, some are outgoing, some are reserved. Your unique makeup will determine what your personality type looks like. So let's say you're outgoing and task-oriented. In the DISC personality model, that makes you a D personality. You're direct and driven. You can kick butt on a task list. Your issue is that you have to deal with people, and those people have feelings. Ugh. This is literally how my D people feel when they hear those words. They do have feelings, and they're like, oh. But here's the thing. There are stories about people who become ridiculously successful while losing everyone who means anything to them. I mean, it's such a almost meme at this point, right? There's the Ebenezer Scrooges of the world. We've talked about, Steve Jobs, apparently had that revelation as well. And if you don't have a family to deal with, that's another story entirely. But for most women with a family and a D personality, the mothering side of life can feel very stifling. Now, I will never say that makes you a bad mom. It merely means you need something beyond motherhood to feel complete. And because you're task-oriented, it takes a really concerted effort to give your people optimal attention, because you would much rather be kicking butt at being an entrepreneur. And I don't say that in judgment. I say that because you can tick off those tasks as an entrepreneur. You can't necessarily always do that as a mom. You may also be the breadwinner of your family, and you love that role. And if you're married, more often than not, a high D woman will marry someone who complements her personality. So where you as a D woman may love the thrill of your career, your significant other may excel at the emotional side of life. And that's a great thing. As much as possible, you can let them be the one that leads in that part of life, because that is part of the balance. Balance isn't you doing everything or balancing everything on your own. Sometimes it's just about letting the other person do what they do well. You let them shine in their capacity while you shine in yours. And that means you have more time for making and executing to-do lists. You love ticking off the boxes. And while family isn't a box to be ticked, if you tick off all your task boxes, you'll have more mental and emotional energy to give to your family. So you want to feel like a total winner in the family department? Find ways to combine your activities and make time together productive for at least part of the time. Maybe that means you play dance music while you clean up, or you sing while you put away the dishes, or you have your children read to you while you go through mail. Maybe you exercise together, or you do a project around the house. Occasionally, you might have to, and I'm putting this in air quotes, suffer through a family movie night. But if you combine that with a pizza night and watch while you eat that special treat, you shorten the time you sit there with nothing to do. You also show your family that they are important to you without shirking your other responsibilities. Hello, that makes you a winner. Some people are outgoing and people-oriented. This is the woman who loves to have fun, and that movie night that the D woman rolls her eyes about sounds like great fun to the I personality. If you are an I personality, not only will you embrace movie night, you're the one helping to build the blanket for it, to watch the movie from, popping the popcorn, and inviting the neighbor kids over to join in the fun. In fact, a scheduled movie night with guests is exactly what you, as a fun-loving woman, needs to motivate you to actually do the tasks that keep your life in balance. I remember telling my husband, I do have that I in my personality, by the way. I remember telling him one time that I needed to have a party every month so I would keep my house clean. And I wasn't kidding. So if that sounds familiar to you, you probably have some I in your personality as well. The hardest part of the movie night for a people-loving person like the I personality will be the preparation and the cleanup. And so if you know a task-oriented mom who offers to help you clean up, let her. Welcome the help, and you'll both feel better for it. Some people are reserved and people-oriented. In the DISC model, this is the supportive S personality. You are the church ladies that always bring a covered dish to the potluck if you like to cook, or you watch the children in the nursery if you don't. You never want to be in charge of anything, but you support causes and people you care about, which is pretty much everyone you ever meet, unless they're mean to you. You get out of balance trying to help everybody else because it's much more gratifying to do that than help yourself, which means it's very easy to slip into self-neglect. You've hit the danger zone when you push beyond your limits and stress over not being able to help everyone all the time. Boundaries don't come easily to you, and bolder personalities, which is generally all of them, can take advantage of you without even realizing it because you feel awful for saying no or for letting people down. You would help a friend declutter their entire house, even though yours is worse than the person you're helping. Now, the key to balance for you is realizing that accepting help isn't failure. It's knowing where your strengths are and letting other people succeed and feel helpful too. Like the eye woman, if you have the movie night slumber party, let others help you clean up or let them bring snacks. It's a great way to support others in their journey of giving, right? Oh, and make sure you set a pickup time in the morning so you don't end up with dinner guests the next night too. Although I'm sure if you did, you'd be okay with it. Some people are reserved and task-oriented. These women want things done correctly and struggle with balance because perfection is always the goal. You want to excel at your career, have an immaculate home, an excellent marriage, and well-behaved children more than any other personality type because you have extremely high expectations for yourself and everyone around you. The struggle comes when those around you do not have the same level of commitment that you do. You have a plan. It's a well-thought-out plan. If everyone would just follow your plan, you believe that everything would work out perfectly. Unfortunately, rarely does everything go perfectly to plan, and that is stressful for you. As a reserve type, you do not always communicate your wants, wishes, and plans to other people. You expect them to know. But the truth is that they don't know. I know you think they should, but they don't. They need you to communicate with them. When you remember to do that, everyone involved benefits, and the chances of a positive outcome goes up dramatically. You may not get everything you want, but you'll get so much more of it than by expecting things to go your way when you keep your expectations to yourself. So, do you see how balance looks different to each personality type? For the D personality type, you need accomplishment and progress, but balance comes when you remember to include the human factor for at least part of your journey. For the I personality, you need that fun and human interaction. Your balance comes when you include the tasks in your plan so the fun doesn't lead to stress later. For the S personality, you love supporting others, but unless you include some boundaries, you'll empty your cup and have nothing left to give. For the C personality, you want things done correctly and carefully. For the C personality, you may want things done correctly and carefully. Balance for you comes when you remember to communicate your standards to others and realize that those standards may be higher than the people you're dealing with. So what do you think? Are you ready to find more balance in your life? Did you see yourself in one or more of these personalities? If you do, and you want to learn more, check the show notes on how to do that or go to kebemis.com to learn more. That's all for this episode. I'm so happy to be back. And if there's a subject that you'd like to cover regarding personalities, you can contact me through the Moving Toward Better Facebook page or send an email to KEBEMMES, KEBEMMES consulting @gmail.com. Until next time, keep living your best life, powered by your unique and amazing personality. See you guys. At Moving Toward Better and KEBEMMES Consulting, it's our mission to help you live your best life, powered by your unique and amazing personality. If you want to make sure you never miss an episode, subscribe to the podcast today and head over to KEBEMMES.com to learn more about how amazing your personality is. That's KEBEMMES.com. And if you missed that, check the show notes for the web address. As always, thanks for listening, thanks for being you, and have a great day. Love you all.